Remember this? The low-resolution zombies, the tank controls, the slightly better than mediocre voice acting, which to be fair was legendary. This is where it all started for me. Resident Evil was my gateway into the world of survival horror, a genre that has held me captive for decades. I remember as a kid religiously heading down to this little shop called KT Consoles every weekend. I would rent Resident Evil, praying nobody else had gotten to it first. Those weekends were filled with tense silence, the scratching sound of a worn plastic controller, and that satisfying pop of a zombie's head after a well-placed shotgun blast. While every entry has held its own unique charm, Resident Evil 2, both the original and the incredible remake, has always been my personal pinnacle. The way it masterfully blended tension, action, and story was a revelation, so naturally, I was both incredibly excited and a little apprehensive when Resident Evil Requiem was announced. First things first, visually, this game is an absolute technical marvel. Now, admittedly, I did play this on PC at ultra settings, because I'm one of those idiots. The graphics are simply stunning. From the dripping sweat on the characters' faces to the incredibly detailed, grime-slicked environments, every frame is a visual treat. It's one of those games where you find yourself staring at a wall for 3 minutes just because the lighting hits the moss just right. If the apocalypse looks this good, maybe it's not so bad. But it's not just a pretty face. The gameplay is as tight as ever, but this time we're treated to two distinct flavors through our protagonists. First, there's Grace. Her gameplay focuses on stealth and strategy, forcing you to think on your feet and avoid unnecessary combat. It's a refreshing change of pace that really makes you feel the vulnerability of being outnumbered. Then there's Leon. While he still needs to be careful, his segments lean into his experience. He's more proactive, employing a range of new techniques and gadgets to take down the infected, with a kind of brutal efficiency we've come to expect from the man who survived Raccoon City. It's basically tactical Leon versus survivor Grace, and I loved the contrast. The story itself is incredibly engaging, largely thanks to the primary antagonist, Victor Gideon. I absolutely love this villain. He's got that classic Resident Evil ego mixed with a modern, calculating menace that makes every scene he's in feel electric. He's kind of the villain you love to hate. One thing the game handles brilliantly is the escalation. It starts as a slow, burning, grounded exercise in realistic horror. Every creak of a floorboard makes you jump, but as you progress, the intensity ramps up until the ending, which is completely over the top and absolutely insane. It leans into that glorious Resident Evil action movie absurdity that we all secretly crave. It goes from "where's my flashlight" to "where's my rocket launcher," and it's a total blast. However, if I have one gripe, it's that the game is a little too short. I found myself reaching the end and wishing there was just one more chapter to sink my teeth into. Luckily, the replay value is high, with different secrets and a massive arsenal of unlockable weapons that make a second run through feel fresh. I do have to mention one moment. There's a particular flashback segment in an orphanage that I just didn't enjoy. It wasn't the story that bothered me, but the sudden shift into a slow hide-and-seek pace. It felt like it ground the momentum to a halt, and I'm here for the survival horror and the resource management, not for playing a lethal game of sardines with a creepy AI. It just didn't need to be there. And as we are currently finding out and experiencing, it makes replays very, very slow. And Capcom, please put in a skip option for this section, please. The most interesting part of this Resident Evil, though, is how it shifts the landscape of the series. It suggests that the era of Umbrella and traditional viral warfare might finally be a thing of the past. It's a wide open world now, and the implications for the future are massive. What happens when the biological Cold War ends? The game asks some really cool questions about what comes next when the T-Virus and Umbrella aren't really in town anymore. But let's just get to the real meat of the game. The moments that made my inner child scream with joy. Returning to the RPD police station was a massive highlight. Walking through those doors again felt like coming home. If your home was a gothic nightmare filled with puzzles and monsters. The nostalgia hit me like a brick. Seeing those halls rendered with modern technology again, but destroyed, was pure magic. And then there's the man, the myth, the fedora, Mr. X. Facing off against him again was an absolute blast. That familiar sense of dread when you see that grey face and those heavy boots thudding in the distance, it's a total rush. But the ultimate cherry on top for a long-time fan like me was the surprise battle against Hunk. Seeing the Grim Reaper himself back in action was such a brilliant nod to the fans. Engaging in a high-stakes fight against one of the most mysterious characters in the lore was a dream come true, although folks were disappointed by the outcome of the fight. Go back and look for the body. That cannot be a coincidence. Overall, Resident Evil Requiem is a fantastic ride. It's got the looks, the atmosphere, and the thrills. It might have a weird orphanage detour and end a bit sooner than I'd like, but it's a solid addition to the legacy. Just don't blame me if you start checking behind your shower curtain for Mr. X.